Hey everybody, Hunter Fisher, Trapper, Trader, Guide, Scout, and Interpreter, and just a country cook, Steve Hall, here in Nashville, Tennessee, along with pretty Miss Sheila running that camera. Hi, Sheila.
Hi.
Today we're going to make egg foo young. You can make all kinds of it. You can make barbecued pork, chicken, or in this case, we're making shrimp egg foo young today. And I got to dedicate this recipe to my steel player, Ernie Wren, in Brainerd, Minnesota. For years, I had a band up in the 5-state area: Minnesota, Iowa, North, South Dakota, Wisconsin, and across Canada. We run up and down the road for about 10 years. Steve Hall and the Southbound 76, it was called back then. A lot of you folks remember that band. But Ernie had the most educated palate for a young man. We'd go in a restaurant, and I'd say, well, I think I'll have this right here. Then he'd order like a hot beef sandwich. And I thought, a hot beef what? I'm like 18, you know. He'd get this hot beef sandwich with some potatoes and gravy. And I thought, wow, that looks really great. I wish I wouldn't have ordered this burger thing. Then we stopped at another restaurant, and I didn't understand half what was on there. And I ordered some wonton something. He said, I'll have the egg foo young. I thought, egg foo, what are you ordering? And here come this neat little egg and vegetable and gravy kind of thing. And I thought, from now on, that is never happening again. And it didn't. For the rest of the 10 years we toured together, I let him order first. And when the waitress would come to me, I'd say, I'll have what he's having. So today, I'm going to have what Ernie ordered all the time, egg foo young. Come on over and let's get started. Well, to get a head start on this recipe, last night while Sheila was sleeping, I cut up all the ingredients and put them in my little chamber vac machine and got them ready to make the egg foo young. But we're going to make our gravy first. And let's go ahead and start up our little New Wave 2 induction cooktop. Everybody asked me about that. And in here, we're going to put some chicken broth. Now, I have seen so many recipes, even big Asian restaurants, that pour water in their wok. And we could have made this in the wok, but I kind of wanted to make it in this little pot over here and kind of put it to the side. Keep the wok clean to get ready for that egg foo young. And they'll pour in water and they'll say, and of course you can use chicken broth. And then they go on to make the recipe, and I think, well, if you can use chicken broth, let me think about this. Water with no taste and chicken broth. Got to go with the chicken broth. 1.5 cups of chicken broth. And I'm actually making a batch for a family of 4. Even though it's just me and Sheila, I'm making this so when you guys make it, you can feed a family of 4. 1.5 cups of chicken broth. In here, we're going to put in a tablespoon of soy sauce, just a 1/2 teaspoon of pure sesame oil, and a lot of people use tablespoons of it, and it's just too overbearing for me, so just use a 1/2 teaspoon. And we're going to put in 2 tablespoons of oyster sauce. Now, don't let this oyster sauce stuff scare you off. It really tastes fantastic. It's thick. See if I can get some to come out of this bottle, almost like honey. But just put a little drop on the end of your finger. It's hard to explain what it tastes like. Doesn't taste like rotten oysters or nothing. Don't get that in your head. It's so delicious. It just screams out, let's make stir fry. So, in my little cup right here, I have 2 tablespoons of oyster sauce, 1 tablespoon of soy sauce, and a 1/2 teaspoon of sesame oil. And we're going to put that into our chicken broth here. And this is all you need to make this gravy, is to get those flavors in there. And we are going to hit it with a shot of pepper. I'll be right back. Thank you, Sheila.
You're welcome.
Sheila was nice enough to go get me the pepper. And we're just going to give it a little shot of pepper in here. And you don't want to put any salt in here because it has soy sauce. And that is already salty. Let me kind of stir this, let it kind of come to a boil. And now we're going to add, to thicken this up, we're going to make a cornstarch slurry. All right, I got this down on medium so it don't boil too much. And again, to make our cornstarch slurry, we're going to use cold water, and we're going to put in the equal amount of cornstarch, about 1/3 cup in there. We're going to stir it up real good. And that medium's got a nice little boil. Can you see that in there, Sheila?
Yes, I can.
All right. And what we're going to do here is we're going to slowly add our cornstarch slurry and stir it as it boils a little bit. And they'll start, oh, look at that thicken up. Man, that might already be enough. So you could probably get away with 1/4 of a cup. A little thicker maybe, just a hair. That was easy. And that's all you need to do to make the gravy for your egg foo young. I'm going to take this off the heat right now. I'm going to move it aside because we can always heat this up in a microwave just for a minute before we pour it on our egg foo young. That looks really nice right there. That's a nice gravy. See that, Sheila?
Mm-hmm. Good.
Looking good, and it's going to thicken even a little more as it cools. And we're going to get our wok front and center, and we're going to start putting the ingredients together for our egg foo young. See you in a second. All right, now other than our eggs, we have 6 different ingredients, and I'm going to list it all below the video so it's easy to find. Now over here in this bowl, I've got a cup of peas and carrots, and they're already cooked. These are frozen peas and carrots, thawed out. I'm going to dump them in this bowl over here. And then I got 1 cup of medium shrimp that I cooked, peeled all the shells off, deveined them, and I cut them up in little teeny pieces. Because I don't like big shrimp in anything. I want little bite-sized pieces, but this is 1 cup of medium shrimp, and it's already cooked. It's already done. That's why it's going in this bowl. Now over here on this side, I'm going to put in a little bit of vegetable oil in my wok here. And the 4 ingredients that we're going to use from this side is only about 1/4 of a cup of red and yellow onions. Now you know me, I love sweet onions, but not for this recipe. We're going to use yellow onions and red onions. If we can get the little bag to open up here and let us have them. There we go. And we're also going to put in 1 cup of mushrooms chopped up. That seems like a lot, but they shrink up when they get cooking in here. Everything's pretty much 1 cup except for those onions. 1 cup of bean sprouts, which I'm going to wait till the very last, and 1 cup of green and red bell peppers diced up. So it don't take very much, only about 1/3 of each one of those green and red bell peppers. There we go. Because we want to soften these veggies ahead of time. Now I'll tell you what I did. I chopped up some scallion to go on top of the egg foo young and the gravy, and then we'll sprinkle it with a little scallion. And I had these ends of the onions left over, and I just couldn't stand myself, so I cut them up, and they're going in there too. So I like onions, so I can live with that. Got this on high for right now. Can you get a close-up of this, Sheila? All right. All right, these are starting to soften up really nice. So it's time to add our 1 cup of bean sprouts in there. And like I said, I vacuum packed everything last night so it'd be ready to go, so I wouldn't have 6 measuring cups sitting in the refrigerator. And then you didn't have to smell the onions or anything else because it was all sealed in those bags. For those of you guys that have ordered chamber machines and sent me some emails that said, I just love it, here's one more thing you can use it for. I'm going to give this just a couple more minutes, and then we're going to move this into this bowl with our shrimp and our peas and our carrots, and then we're going to add our eggs and a little bit of seasoning. In fact, I'm going to put the seasoning right in here right now. We'll just give this a little pepper. Now this we can put salt in because it doesn't have any soy sauce in there, just a little bit of salt. So salt and pepper your veggies and a little bit of that vegetable oil. Don't use butter because now you're going to make an omelet. We're actually making egg foo young, so you want to use vegetable oil in this process. All right. I think that this is close enough. So I'm going to turn this off, get me another tool probably, or just scoop it up over the side. Yeah, that'll work. Let me get this in this bowl, be right back with you. All right, I got 8 eggs in here that I'm going to whisk up. And remember, this is for 4 servings, so don't let that scare you. Beat them up a little bit. Then using your bare hands, or in my case, a glove here, we're going to stir all this together. Oh, that looks perfect. Don't that look beautiful, Sheila?
It does.
Got our shrimp in there and all kinds of goodies. Our mushrooms. And everything's cut in little bite-sized pieces because I don't like big chunks of stuff when I'm eating. Plus it'll be, you know, like a shrimp in every bite kind of thing. Now that we got this mixed up real good, I can take my glove back off. I guess I could have done this with a spoon, but
That looks more fun.
that looks more fun on it. We're going to fire up our wok, and we're going to put quite a bit of oil in because if you're frying it in butter with just a little bit, you're making an omelet. But we actually want to kind of deep fry the eggs, and I'll show you that in just a second. Let's get a shot of this wok, and let's get started. All right, we added about 1/4 cup of vegetable oil, and what we're going to do is we're going to run this up on the sides so that we coat the sides of our wok real good. Might take just a little teeny bit out of there, not much. Perfect. Then we're going to try to make some delicious egg foo young, and you'll notice that it bubbles along the edges. Now you want to let this get good and golden brown before you flip it over, and that's the idea. That's another difference between an omelet and an egg foo young, is you actually fry it real good on both sides, crispy almost. Kind of give it a little push as we go here to make sure it's getting done. Oh yeah. Now we're going to move this down to medium heat. We're going to cook it on medium until it's time to turn it over. See you in a second. All right, now I'm going to turn this over, and I'm going to turn it over up against the side and let it slide back down so I don't splash. Kind of lay it up there. Oh yeah, look at that. See? Now we're talking. What do you think, Sheila?
It is delicious looking.
Perfect, perfect.
It is.
There we have some egg foo young. And I like to take it and fold it up against the side of the wok and then let it slide back down. Because if you just turn it over and flop it down, you might get some oil splashing up on you.
Like I would.
Let's let this get golden brown on this side, then we're going to put in another batch. Well, let's take a little peek under here. Oh yeah, looking good. So we're going to lay this on a paper towel over here. Now you'll notice that that egg foo young picked up most of that oil. So we're going to put a little bit more in here. And that is why we put it on this paper towel over here, is to soak up the oil. Rub it up on the sides again. And let's make batch number 2. Oh, Ernie, I hope you can see this. I get egg foo young. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, you can have this dish. And Ernie don't get none, because he's all the way up in Brainerd. But if I get up that direction, I'll stop and make you some. So let's let this get nice and golden brown, then we're going to flip it over. Take a little peek under there. Oh yeah. This one's ready too. Again, I'm going to turn it over on the side like that. Kind of help keep it from splashing that hot oil on me. That look beautiful, Sheila. How am I doing?
You're doing good this time.
How am I doing, Ernie? Am I doing that egg foo young proud or what? Looking great. This time? What does that mean? Last time wasn't no good or something? Oh, you shocked me, all right, okay. Anyway, let's let this get golden brown on the other side and put it on the paper towels, and we're going to do up the rest of this. Now you can actually turn these more than once if you want. If you want to turn it over a couple of times until it gets nice and done all the way through. And here's the neat part. Everything's cooked in there. Remember those peas and carrots, they already kind of come pre-cooked when you get them in the frozen bags. So that's already done. Our shrimp was already cooked, and everything else we pre-cooked in here before we put it in the bowl with our eggs, so everything's done. We have another one draining over here. Go with just a little less oil this time, maybe about 1/8 of a cup. And I think we're going to be able to get about 2 more out of this bowl. The last one we'll be able to pour in. But see how it's bubbling around the edges? That's what you want, because you're actually deep frying the egg. That's the difference between an omelet and egg foo young. Again, we're going to get this golden brown. We'll flip it over. See you in a sec. I think that was just perfect on the oil. Only about 1/8 of a cup down in there. Let me kind of get the last part of that out of the way. Just a little bit of oil, about 1/8 now. Then our last little batch here. Now I've got this set on medium heat. Don't get in a hurry, because you want it to cook all the way through. Don't be impatient like Steve. That looks pretty good on the bottom. Let me flip that. Again, you notice how it leaves a little residue up here, but that's all right. I like to flip it up against the side of the wok. Oh, that one looks almost like a pancake, Sheila. Look how nice that looks.
That is cute.
That turned out great. Let me cool this down on this paper towel. Let me plate it up, and I'll show you what's going to happen next. One other tip I forgot to mention is when you lay it on the paper towel, take another paper towel and just kind of pat the top of it, just to get the rest of the oil off. Then I turn it over in my hand, flop it on there. How'd I do, Sheila?
You did great.
Now some are smaller, but you might have some kids in the family. I get this one over here. Ernie can have the one over here, or the one that tore in the middle when I flipped it over. Something like that. And now it's time for the gravy. And I will mention something. I took this gravy and I put it back in a bowl, and I mixed it up and heated it up, and I put in 1/2 teaspoon of sugar. And you don't taste it. It's not sweet, but boy, it just wakes the flavor up. So put in 1/2 teaspoon of sugar. Of course, I'll have it in the instructions below the video. And we'll pour a little bit of this gravy down the middle. Now, normally you just serve one of these on a plate, but this is just for our video, so I'm kind of serving it family style here, where everybody could just dig in and get a little bit of that. Hold on. It's amazing that you can just take chicken broth and a few ingredients like that, and it tastes so wonderful. And don't forget to hit it with a few of these little onions on top, and then you have egg foo young, just like they serve it in the restaurant, only Sheila and I whipped it up instead. What do you think, Sheila? How am I doing?
You're doing really good.
Is there a little spot that I'm missing or something, or does it look pretty even?
Well, you're slinging onions around.
Oh, am I slinging onions around? Is this what you had for breakfast down in Alabama every morning?
No, I had chocolate gravy and biscuits.
Okay.
That is so good.
I know it. And by the way, that chocolate gravy and biscuits recipe is on our channel. I'll pick up the little bit of onions that I slung around.
Good.
And there it is. Now, before I taste test this, we got to do a thumbnail for the top of our video. Go ahead, Sheila. Great job shooting the thumbnail there, Sheila.
Thank you.
Now it's time to taste test our egg foo young, and I'm going to take a bite out of this perfect one over here, which was the last one I did. Of course, it's always the last one that's perfect, but let me give this a try. Ernie, I wish you were here. But you're not, so I'll eat yours for you. This is great. Wow. That gravy is absolutely fantastic. Ernie, this goes out to you for 2 reasons, because about 40 years ago, you turned me on to egg foo young, and I'm always sending you our videos, and you're always sharing them and posting them on your Facebook, and this is recipe number 300. Sheila, great work for 300 recipes.
Thank you.
Wow, we're up over 105,000 subscribers. We're just so humbled by all of that. We appreciate you watching. We really hope you enjoy this recipe, and we hope you subscribe to our channel if you're not already a subscriber. That's easy. At the end of the video, a little Shotgun Red's face will pop up over here. Click on that. Once you subscribe, next to the word subscribe is a little bell. If you click on that, then you'll be notified every time we come out with a new recipe, like Ernie Wren's Egg Foo Young. I'm going to put a playlist over here with some other easy to make recipes. You can click on that and see a bunch of them. And is this the most delicious egg foo young you ever ate, ever made, or ever tasted? If it ain't, it ought to be. This is Steve Hall in Nashville, Tennessee, saying all the ingredients will be right under the video. You never have to go to a website to find our stuff. But if you are out snooping around, we do have a website, shotgunred.com. Got our fish breading there and videos and dolls and all kinds of neat goodies you can get. And I can't thank you guys enough for watching us through 300 videos. Ernie, again, I dedicate this to you. Say goodnight, Sheila.
Good night, Sheila.
I know where you're going. You're going to your mom's today, aren't you?
I am.
That's what I thought. We got to turn the camera off because she's heading to Red Bay, Alabama. Bye-bye for now.